Mr. Torres and the 2023
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Just a reminder before I call the meeting to order, if you would like to address the school board, there are some yellow sheets at the entrance, and you can go ahead and fill those out, and you would turn them in to Mrs. Delgado. But thank you for joining us. To those of you who are in person, gracias por estar aquí con nosotros, y muchas gracias a la audiencia que está por medio de YouTube. Bienvenidos. So now I call this meeting to order. This Gadsden Independent School District regular school board meeting for Thursday, October 20, 2022 at 5:02 p.m. Ms. Delgado, can you please take roll call?
Mr. Cano?
Present.
Mr. Castillo?
Present.
Ms. Flores?
Present.
Ms. Murillo?
Present.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Present.
Madam President, we have established quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Delgado. I would like to, this afternoon, please, if Ms. Esmeralda Frias, our assistant principal, if she can pass to the front. Our principal, Ms. Gonzalez, wasn't able to join us this evening, but she will go ahead and be introducing our kids that will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the salute to the New Mexican flag.
Good evening, President Salazar Flores, members of the board, and Superintendent Dempsey. The students who will be leading us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance and the New Mexico salute are Abraham Morales, Denise Coronado, Megan Chavez, and Kylie Hidalgo.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, that is the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
President Salazar Flores, members of the board, and Superintendent Dempsey. My name is Esmeralda Frias, and I am the assistant principal here at Desert View Elementary. Welcome to DVE, home of the Stallions. This evening, we want to showcase our students from the after-school cricket club and ballet folklorico, both made possible by our Family Income Index Award. Ms. Valdez and Ms. Andrade are the sponsors for the cricket club, and they're here along with the students to give us some insight on how they created the personal easels and shirts that will be given to you.
Good afternoon. Our students would like to share on what they've learned and what they have acquired from this program. So who would like to go first? Abraham?
Hello, my name is Abraham Morales, and I learned all about the new cricket vinyl and tools that you use, and I do believe that this is a program that could be key to more opportunities for students, teachers, and the school, and perhaps even the district. This program is extremely fun, and the opportunity to make new friends, and overall, just a really fun and good program.
Hello, my name is Megan Chavez. I am in the 6th grade, and I like this program because of the experiences I had with new people. I made new friends, and I learned how to use different materials, and I also learned different types of vinyls that I can use, and it's a very fun experience.
Hello, my name is Denise Coronado. I like the program because I learned how to use all of the different tools that you need to do the cricket cutting and all of the different materials to do it. And I like how you can get creative and do a bunch of stuff and making new friends too. I made lots of new friends too.
Hi, my name is Kylie Hidalgo, and I'm in 5th grade. I love craft class because these 2 weeks that have been fun making shirts and prints, and I love the colors of the prints, and this is why I love craft.
Hello, my name is Angel Munoz, and this program helped me to learn more about art and more school materials that you can make creative things. Didn't know. Thank you.
President Salazar Flores, members of the board, and Superintendent Dempsey. The final presentation will be done by the after-school Ballet Folklorico Club. The sponsor is Ms. Perez. The boys are wearing the authentic traditional Spanish charro suits, and the girls the beautiful cultural dresses. They will perform Son de la Negra y Jarabe Tapatío. Please help me welcome the students. This concludes our presentation. Hope you enjoyed. And Desert View Elementary appreciates all your support for our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Frias. That was beautiful. Okay, our next item on the agenda is our Superintendent Dempsey's district updates and recognitions. Superintendent Dempsey.
Madam President, board members, thank you for joining us this evening. Ms. Frias, thank you, Desert View staff. That was terrific. Great way to start a meeting. Thank you so much for that. Our first item tonight, I want to introduce Mr. Pacheco and his team. I think you're all aware that we have an amazing relationship with this group and this organization, and they help us from scholarships to back-to-school supplies to backpacks. And we just kind of want to get a feel for, they're gonna present a little bit of the projects they've done with us, and we want to find additional ways to partner with them. So, Mr. Pacheco, if you want to join us and welcome your team, and we appreciate you taking the time to be with us this evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dempsey, Madam Chair, and members of the board. Let me introduce my staff first. I have Susie Cisneros, who is a product of the Gadsden School District. Just a little on Susie. She went to NMSU, got her undergraduate degree, then got her MBA there at NMSU, was voted the #1 MBA student in her class from Sunland Park. Priscilla Godola also went to UTEP and then NMSU, got her MBA also, and she's actually the chairwoman of our Santa Teresa Charitable Foundation. Josh Orozco is also a local guy here out of Las Cruces. He also has his MBA from NMSU. And unfortunately, Ilse couldn't be here, and our intern, who was also from the Gadsden School District, is not able to be here. But we want to give you a quick overview on the Santa Teresa Charitable Foundation. And we're going to give you a background on who we are and what we do up on the Mesa. We're in the Santa Teresa Industrial Base near the airport over there. I've spent 31 years developing the Santa Teresa Industrial Base, and we're having a lot of good things happen lately. So one of the first things we do, and we have a private company, we run these programs. We run what's called the International Business Accelerator, which is legislatively funded, that helps any company in New Mexico export and import. So we do that for free. We also run what's called the Border Industrial Association, the BIA as we call it, has about 120 members. We run the Santa Teresa Industrial Base. We advocate, we promote Santa Teresa Industrial Base, we take care of any issues, we deal with government at all levels. Then finally, on the business side, we are contractors for the New Mexico Partnership, which the state of New Mexico formed in 2003 to promote New Mexico and bring business to New Mexico. So our job is to bring business and industry into this region. We've done that in Santa Teresa, we've done that in Sunland Park, we've done that in Anthony, Las Cruces, Alamogordo, the general area here. But the main thing we came to talk to the board about is the Santa Teresa Charitable Foundation, how it came about, what we're doing. I know that some of you only see us when we're here giving out bicycles to the kids, but we do a lot more than that. So I'd like to introduce the chairwoman of the Santa Teresa Charitable Foundation.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Priscilla. I'm the chair, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about what we do. Well, the Santa Teresa Charitable Foundation was incorporated, or we officially incorporated in 2015, but we have been raising money since 2002. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and our mission is to improve the future opportunities for youth through the funding of educational programs in New Mexico, here in our community. Since the establishment, we have donated more than $500,000 to improve the future of our local youth in the Gadsden Independent School District, of course. Next slide, please. So we're gonna go over our last annual report to show you a little bit of what we've done in the past years. Next slide, please. These are some of our major sponsors, Union Pacific, El Paso Electric, Northwire. Most of these companies are actually located in the industrial park here in Santa Teresa, so we really appreciate their help. Next slide, please. And these are some of the donations that we've done. I'm going to turn it over to Susie so she can talk about them. Oh, actually, Jerry Pacheco is going to talk about it.
So we got started with the foundation in 2000. There was a gentleman named Gene Sutcliffe, I guess, or Sutler. I can't remember his name. He was the Sutmiller. That's right. He was the principal for. Yes, exactly. So our development company back then said, well, we need to get better involved in the community because in Santa Teresa we have a tendency to kind of be an island unto ourselves in the industrial base. So how can we get involved in the community? So I sat down with Mr. Sutmiller and I said, can we buy you computers? Well, we've got plenty of that from the state. What about supplies? Well, we got that. He really had a vision of establishing an honors program. He said, if we can get kids honored because they're performing very well, their siblings, and let's say we honor them at a banquet and we give them a certificate. Their parents can come, maybe a sibling can come. That sibling or the siblings, once they see their brother or sister being honored, will want to achieve good grades also. So we established this back about 22 years ago, and we still have this as one of our major efforts here. We fund every year. Last year, in 2021, because we didn't have a major fundraising because of the pandemic in 2020, that figure's low. We usually donate $15,000 to $20,000, more or less, every year for the honors program in several of the elementary schools. That even includes as far as Chaparral we support.
Next slide, please.
Next slide. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the programs that we have here at the STCF. Starting with the student of the semester, we used to do it student of the quarter, which we would get one student from each class, from each grade level, to participate, and they would get a bicycle, an iPad, or a tablet. This last year in 2021, we did the urban air here in Sunland Park, so the top student of each grade level was able to attend with their family to the urban air place here in Sunland Park, so that was amazing to the students. Another thing that we did is we attended to the graduations from the elementaries here. It was great. We were able to do like a little candy bag for the students, so we congratulated them. So please invite us to your graduations. It's awesome. Next slide. We also do, one of our main programs that we do is a uniform donation. We usually gather around 3 to 4 students from each class level, from each elementary school here, and we give them a uniform. That includes a t-shirt and pants, and then we attend to each school and we give them the uniform. Usually kids are really happy because they receive a uniform. It's up to the teacher who they want to give the uniform to, but we usually see students that really need the uniform. So we have done it for a lot of years. Last year we donated over 250 uniforms, and we're planning to do more this year because we're going to add La Unión Elementary and hopefully Vado Elementary. So it's a pleasure, and these are just some of the programs that we do. Thank you.
So this was a fun one. We went to El Paso Electric, and with the pandemic, it was so difficult. We heard it was so difficult for students at home because you have, in some cases, multiple families using one laptop to connect to classes. So how do you manage that as a parent? So we went up to El Paso Electric and said, hey, we think there's an opportunity here to really help these families. Can you donate some money? And they agreed to it, to donate $10,000. And we went out and bought a bunch of laptops and gave it to students in need. Next slide.
This is another example of the programs we sponsor. We helped the students from Gadsden High School attend a trip, a DECA conference in, I believe it is Orlando, Florida, this year. because they wanted to participate, and we helped them, with the travel expenses, with the flights and everything. And this conference was really good for them because it was going to prepare them for different fields such as finance, marketing, hospitality, and management, so they could learn more about those careers. Next slide, please. And then La Unión Fund.
So I don't know if you all remember, I'm sure many of you do, we had some major flooding last year, and it impacted La Unión pretty badly. And there really wasn't a system in place at that moment to help those people out. The county reached out to multiple groups around the county, and even though this isn't directly related to education, we felt it was important to help out, because how can a child go to school if they're worried about mud in their bedroom? I mean, you just can't do that. So we asked partners around El Paso and Doña Ana County, hey, can you provide some money? We're not really sure what we're going to be able to do, but let's just get money in the hands of these people so that they can find hotel rooms, so they can purchase equipment to clean their homes, whatever, just so we can do it right away to help them out as quickly as possible. Oh, and I'm sorry, missed an important part. Through that effort, we were able to raise $16,250. We had a lot of help from Century Bank, Northwire, First Light Federal Credit Union, and some others. And that really helped when you can hand $1,000 to a family. It was only a drop in the bucket, I'm sure, but to know, hey, there's something here, at least I can get food for the next few days.
Next slide, please.
So our primary mode of fundraising for 22 years has been our Santa Teresa Charitable golf tournament. We're having that this year, November the 4th. We raise a lot of money. We get the community involved, the industrial base involved, a lot of the contractors, service providers that work in the Santa Teresa industrial base. We say, hey, you're making a lot of money here. You got to we squeeze them a little bit to give to the community, in other words. And we're having that November 4th. We are packed in terms of teams that we have going. We expect to raise a good amount of money this year. In fact, we were at the golf course today at Butterfield getting everything ready. It's quite a production. We've got about 144 players. We spend thousands of dollars on prizes and equipment to get this going, but it's our primary fundraiser, and that's what allows us, apart from corporate donations, private donations, to be able to fund these programs.
Yes. For this year's tournament, we even have a waiting list because a lot of companies want to participate. So we'll see. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Any questions, comments? I just wanted to, on the behalf of the board, thank you for all you do for all our kids. That's awesome. And Ms. Maria wanted us to go compete, pero ya no se puede, ya ves. It's full. We can go help, okay. Okay.
Yes, we need volunteers. If any of you in the audience would like to volunteer for the tournament, you are more than welcome to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pacheco.
If that falls on a weekday, would you allow some of our, is it on a weekday? It's a Friday.
It's on a Friday.
So allow some of our staff to go help.
Actually, a group of us typically are there.
Awesome.
And so we absolutely support it. And Mr. Pacheco and your team, we just want to thank you for that partnership. It's really amazing, and I want everyone to understand that things like this don't happen in every community. And so it takes individuals like this willing to give back and willing to see the big picture of building communities that we really appreciate. And I just want to thank you for that partnership. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item is our law enforcement appreciation night. Mr. Ortega is going to give us, I believe, a little update here.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Dempsey. Since our last meeting on September 22nd, when I gave you a preliminary update on the Law Enforcement Appreciation Night, I'm here today to give you a status update on what we're doing and what we are preparing to do for next week, which is the tentative date for the Law Enforcement Appreciation Night. And of course, since the 22nd, the stipulations of the procedure, the protocol, how we were going to carry out still remain the same, so it's still in place. And currently, we have 3 confirmed first responder agencies who have committed to attending the Law Enforcement Appreciation Night, which of course will be Doña County Sheriff's Office, the Sala and Park Fire Department, and the U.S. Border Patrol and the Regional Canine Service have all expressed appreciation. They look forward to this evening being recognized for their hard work and their partnership that we are providing with law enforcement and with the school community. So we're still holding out on a few that we've already resubmitted notices to those agencies who want to participate. And I feel confident there will be a couple more that will be willing to participate in this worthwhile adventure. And again, and the one thing they do tell me is that in the event that there's an emergency or if there's a call out, then of course they will have to pull their personnel at that time. But we're hoping that we do get enough law enforcement personnel out there to include family members. And of course, we are going to recognize those that serve the community in a law enforcement capacity, both in the past, present, and of course, retirees. So of course, that all will be provided during the halftime facilities. Any questions?
Just for clarification, this will be happening next Friday at Santa Teresa High School.
That is correct.
At the
Santa
football game.
Teresa against Chaparral. Yes.
Very nice. Okay, and then Mr. Dempsey, will there be free admission for the law enforcement?
That is
Will
correct.
they show their badge?
Correct.
Yes.
So law enforcement and their families will be able to enter we'll have an opportunity for them to sign our declaration, and that'll be read at halftime.
Any further questions, comments? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ortega. Okay, our next item, Ms. Legareta is going to help us with this, but this is, we really proud to say that we have one of the 4 finalists for New Mexico Teacher of the Year is an individual from Gadsden High School. So, Ms. Legareta, will you please?
Good evening, Madam President, Salazar Flores, board members, Superintendent Dempsey. It is with a lot of pride that I'm here to introduce one of our finalists for Teacher of the Year for New Mexico, Ms. Vicky Aranda. And she's just one of the many, many amazing educators that we have across the district. I want to thank also our assistant principal, Ms. Lorin Guerrero, for bringing awareness to us on the application and the process for the Teacher of the Year. I hope that we can include more teachers in the process because we have amazing educators. One of the things that makes Ms. Aranda very unique is the passion that she has for the students and the way that she works with all of our students, including our special education population when they are in the class. She's very hardworking. She connects with the students in a very personal way. The students love her and work for her, even some of our most difficult students that are on a behavioral unit. So, Ms. Aranda.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It was my pleasure, and it was a great experience for me to do the whole process of being. I wanted to be the 2023 New Mexico Teacher of the Year. It was not possible, but at least I'm in top 4. I'm really pleased. I was so excited. It was a really, really great experience. I was so amazed of the whole process, the interview, everything. It was so amazing. And thank you so much for support from Ms. Legareta, Mr. Dugan, and then, of course, the assistant principals and everybody was really supportive of me. Mr. Carmona did an awesome job with the video. So it was my pleasure, to represent Gadsden High School and, of course, GISD, because, I'm part of the great, great district. So I was so excited for them to see what's going on and, of course, to see what's going on in my classroom, of course. I wanted to see, what was the reaction of what's going on, what is it they're learning, what's going on, because sometimes they forget about us. It's always about Santa Fe or Las Cruces, but what about Anthony, New Mexico? Thank you so much.
Mr. Carmona, I think we have a video.
Torres and the 2023 New Mexico Teacher of the Year Committee. My name is Vicky Aranda, and I'm a Spanish teacher from Gadsden High School, which is part of the GISD in Anthony, New Mexico. It is an honor to have the opportunity to address such a distinguished audience as a potential national representative for our state. There is no doubt that teaching is changing and impacting the lives of our students nationwide. It is no exception that education is an extremely important field in our society, which is led day by day by teachers. Education is essential to shape future society members. Teaching changes students' lives in many ways because we create a good rapport that goes beyond teaching and provides important life lessons that shape their identity, personality, and the way they process thoughts. For instance, as educators, we pass our knowledge and skills to each one of our students' generation to be productive in any profession, from skills in collaboration, empathy, adaptability, and essential technology knowledge. Another example is the impact that teaching has on community growth. Educators have the power to prepare students to overcome socioeconomic factors, which empowers them to improve their quality of life and become successful future society members. Family engagement is also an important aspect that is being shaped by teaching. As a teacher, one has to integrate diverse ethnicities and cultures. This creates a significant impact on the family's involvement in their children's educational journey and prompts the collaboration of teachers and families for academic achievement. Thank you for your attention and for giving me this opportunity.
Again, thank you very much for your hard work, and we're incredibly proud of you. And thank you for being part of us. Thank you for everything you do for our students. Okay, our next item is our student representative. This is Mr. Flores, who's a 10th grader at Santa Teresa High School.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Dante Flores, and I am the student representative from Santa Teresa High School. I would like to thank our wonderful administration team at our school for getting the intercom system up and running. In addition to that, National Honor Society has inducted 20 new members this month. This Friday, we have the Battle of the Helm game against Gadsden High School. Our boys soccer team won the district championship, and our school has 235 students with perfect attendance. Our NJROTC program is currently preparing for their third drill competition of this year. We are also preparing to take the PSAT next week. Some issues that our administration team is tackling is the amount of tardies we have at our school and the smoking problem in the bathroom. I would like to thank the board for allowing me the time to speak at this meeting.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we're down to more board member report. Ms. Morillo, can you get us started this evening?
Good evening, everybody. Yes? Closer. I would need it. Good evening. Thank you to Desert View. Ms. Frias, thank you so much for your hospitality. Churros were amazing. And thank you to Mr. Morales, the little kids, Mr. Morales and Mr. Munoz. They were really nice kiddos that greet us at the front and helped us go to the library, and very, very nice kiddos. We went to the regional meeting at Ruidoso on Tuesday. It was very nice to be part of I've never been up there as a board member, and it was very neat to see their culture. They were exposing the Native American culture, and so they went to the audience, and they were dancing with us, and Mr. Castillo was brave enough to dance with us as well. So it was really neat to get to learn that. I asked them, I'm Mexican, so you need to teach me how to dance this. And then they're like, no, you don't dance the whole body. It's just, you just go like this. So I'm like, okay. And so then I come here to Desert View, and then I see what I love, which is ballet folklorico, because I was escaramuza when I was younger. And so I'm like, okay, this you move the whole body. So Mr. Dempsey, I'm gonna request that when we host them, that those kiddos dance with the whole audience so they can get to have a little experience of what ballet folklorico is. So just wanted to throw it out there. Please follow your school remind for information. There has been parents that call and they ask for information, and because they belong to my district, but Ms. Suggs and Mr. Sanchez and Mr. Smith, Riverside as well, are the ones that I follow. They are really good at putting everything, all the events that are happening throughout the month. So I highly encourage the parents to please get on Remind and follow your respective schools. Also, thank you so much, and I know they're gone, but the Charitable Foundation for their partnership. I know they have been doing other stuff with the state, and they partner with other people, but I know that they do a lot for Gadsden. There is gonna be a fall festival at the sports complex, and it's gonna be called "What Do You Want to Be When You Grow Up?" And this is gonna be the Hive is gonna be putting it together, and I know Gadsden is gonna be one of the sponsors. They're gonna be participating on that, so it's gonna be nice to see that booth. There's gonna be free food for the community and games for the kiddos, but yeah, I saw Gadsden's booth out there in the map. So it's nice to see that we're getting out in the community and to participate as well. Mr. Castillo, I hope to see you at the football game with Santa Teresa versus Gadsden this Friday at 7 p.m. It's gonna be really, really nice to sit right next to you and have that partnership as well, cheering for our people. So I can't wait to see you there on Friday. And lastly, next week is a busy week. We have please go to Santa Teresa, parents, go to Santa Teresa, don't go, join Santa Teresa. They're having the meeting with, remind me, Ms. Suggs, there's a meeting next Thursday with staff. Is it Thursday? Next Thursday? No? Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong.
Just put her on the spot.
The meeting, I'm sorry, I thought I had it written down. There's a meeting with the staff next week, parent meeting? No? Maybe? November 9th. Well, it's before the next board meeting, so. And next week we have the Red Ribbon Parade with La Unión at 9:30 in the morning, right? There's a big, long list, so I'm very excited to see all those agencies out there helping out and being part of the community as well. And I think that is it. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Murillo. Mr. Cano?
I'd like to please make a request to be not in between, okay? First of all, I'd like to... Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Thank you for Desert View for lovely hospitality we had here today. And I like Ms. Murillo. I love folklorico dancing. I mean, it takes a lot in it. You get vibe luego when you hear the mariachis playing. I also wanted to congratulations to Ms. Aranda, correct? Congratulations, and we wanted more, but that's okay. We'll take what we can get right now. Doubling back to the competition between Santa Teresa and Gadsden, may the best team win. I'm going for both teams right now. It's Gadsden. Can't go wrong with that. That is all that I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cano. Mr. Castillo?
Good afternoon. Sorry I hadn't been here for the past couple of weeks. Obviously, she missed me. Ms. Frias, thank you for the hospitality. Mr. Pacheco, I know they did live, but they've done an awesome job since he's been in the head of that. Mrs. Aranda, congratulations. Thank you for the hard work you do. And I'm from Middle Vista, so it's on, right? So but again, I bleed maroon and gold, remember, right? And there's no crying in football. You know, it's funny. I missed my two meetings, and for that, life gets in the way. And this is on a serious note. I wanna believe that you guys don't miss me. I truly want to believe that you guys don't miss me. That this is a board. This is not the one. Because I did get some calls and say, "Hey, where are you, dude? It's not me. This is the board. This is the board. It's not Danny. It's never been Danny. This is the board. So don't ever miss me. Thank you."
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Ms. Rodriguez?
Congratulations, Ms. Aranda. It's amazing, right? And I think that it's an honor that you are representing us. I know you have a great relationship with the students, and that's what we need, right? We need all teachers to have that good partnership along with the parents as well. So thank you for that, and I congratulate you for everything that you do. On that note, also congratulations to all the principals, and thank you for all the work that you do. October is the principals, National Principals Day, or not day, month. So again, thank you for what you do. I know it's with their leadership, that's how our campuses grow. And so again, you have to be dealing with many things, and again, having that partnership with the parents is very, very important, and I know that you all work very well with the parents and the students. And yes, we went to the region meeting in Ruidoso, and it was an honor to see everyone, them, dancing. It was a pretty neat thing. I was recording, so I got away with not having to dance, but it was neat to see, and the culture, and I agree, it's something different. I really, really appreciated the sound that we were able to hear, and I really like the dance that they did here too, right? That's our Mexican culture, and Ballet Folklorico is amazing. I know that I've always supported that, and so yes, I think it would be a nice thing that when we have our meeting here, all our fellow board members can experience our Ballet Folklorico from Gadsden. And I just want to say I've been participating, I think we will have that part of or not, but I've been participating with the POPs program, and it's been neat. It's been quite an experience. I would love to hear how our principals feel about that, and how they're if there, what things need to be done. And I think the greatest thing is having that communication with the principal, understanding what it is that they need within the campus. And so I encourage everyone that can, help out at least 2 hours. It's a great thing to be able to serve and to support our kids and our staff, right? Because it's not just about the kids, it's about everyone that's within that campus. So I'm excited. I've only been there twice. And I haven't completed my 2 hours, those 2 days, but I'm trying. But it's, again, I really, really encourage everyone to participate and do something for our community. And on that, with our coffee with the principals, they're still going on, so please, you want to be informed, please participate in those, and coffee with the superintendent, and of course, the morning Monday message. I know it hasn't happened for couple of weeks maybe, but I guess it's a way to be able to, if you have any questions, please ask those questions, okay? Never feel like there's a question that you should be ashamed of asking. If you don't know, you don't know, but let's ask so that we become informed. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Ms. Flores?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you. I'd like to start off by thanking the administration of Desert View Elementary. Thank you for your hospitality. The nachos were delicious. I didn't get an opportunity to eat the churros, but my colleagues did, so awesome. Okay, let's see. And then I'd like to also congratulate Ms. Aranda on your nomination. It's awesome to see, because usually like it's like science teachers, math teachers, you know, and it's awesome to see somebody representing the Spanish teachers, nuestra cultura, ¿verdad? Entonces muchas felicidades en su nominación. It was also nice to see the folklorico performers as National Hispanic Heritage Month came to an end. And I was reminiscing, I actually got to see, I saw her there. Ms. Mauricio, who actually is now teaching here, she and I actually danced together 15 years ago at Champion Studios, so it was like, that was awesome to see. Moviendo la patita, right? But I love folklorico. And yes, I agree, very different. Miss Arlene, rather. Okay, moving on, let's see. Again, I was gonna, ya me ganaron acá, but yes, I was gonna invite or encourage the Gadsden Independent School District, no, the Gadsden High School community and the Santa Teresa community to go support your players tomorrow evening, Friday at 7 p.m. at Panther Stadium. It's gonna be Gadsden High School's homecoming, and it's gonna be the Battle of the Helmet. So good luck to both teams. Last week, unfortunately, I want to congratulate Gadsden High School. They beat Chaparral Lobos, so they continue to have that trophy of Battle of the Gap. So congratulations to the Panthers. And then also tomorrow, you'll get to see during halftime, the Gadsden High School Panther Pride Band will be performing. And I'd like to wish them luck. I believe on Saturday, they will be traveling to Thatcher, Arizona to compete. ¿También ustedes? Okay, very nice. I was gonna also, good luck to the Santa Teresa Warrior Band. They'll be competing also in Thatcher. And hopefully, now that we have, I don't recall his title, but Mr. Beach under Ms. Tarazona, I really would love to see our band programs, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Expand, yes, thrive, because I'm kind of sad, very sad, because our band at Chaparral used to be awesome a couple of years ago, and I'm not sure what happened. So we need to work on that, and definitely would like to see collaboration between middle school band directors and high school directors. That would be awesome. Let me see. And then I also got to attend the region meeting in Ruidoso. It was fun dancing. I think they call it the backburn dance. The Mescalero Indians showed us how to dance that. And then towards the end, we did have PD when we go to these events. Yes, we have dinner, we have fun, but also there's PD for us. And so the professional development that was given to us was on student safety and school safety. And so something very serious. And so the gentleman from Palms and Associates showed us, some video of the Uvalde incident that happened in Uvalde, Texas. And so basically, conclusion of what I learned is it's not just one person's responsibility, it's everybody's, from administrators to teachers to custodians to cafeteria staff to even the student, that, like they say, if you see something, say something. Make sure our doors are locked. Those what do you call them, those work orders? And they said it again. If it has to do with safety, those work orders should be pushed up. Doors not locking and stuff like that need to be pushed up. So it was a very, I learned a lot that evening. Let me see. Just a reminder, also next Wednesday, October 26th, we've got an Equity Council meeting. It'll be at the GAC Bistro, 4:30 to 6, and the public is invited, correct? Okay, so I believe we do have representatives from regions, but the public in general is invited, so come out and join us. And then, let's see, for those of you who are Aggies, también homecoming, NMSU, this Saturday. And then, also the last thing I will conclude by reminding, if you're registered to vote, exercise your right to vote, be an informed voter. Doesn't matter what political affiliation you are or that candidate is. Go ahead and vote and be informed. And just a reminder that early voting is currently underway, and it'll conclude November the 5th, which I believe is a Saturday. So if you go to the Doña, those of you who Facebook, If you go to Doña Ana Clerk's office, you'll see the sites where you can do early voting. So please go out to vote. And for those kiddos that are barely turning 18, as long as you turn 18 by election day, you can register on site to vote. Okay? And that concludes my report. Thank you. Okay, moving on to our item 4 on the agenda, Human Resources Report. That is there for public knowledge. It does not require any action on behalf of the board. Okay, moving on to item 5, modification of the agenda. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the agenda as is.
Mr. Castillo has made a motion to accept the agenda as is. Superintendent Dempsey?
So recommend.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to item 6, do I hear a motion?
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the regular school board meeting on October 6th, 2022.
Okay, Mr. Gano has made a motion to accept the item listed, item 6 on our agenda. Superintendent Dempsey?
So recommend.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to item 7, consent agenda. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
Mr. Castillo has made a motion to accept the consent agenda as is. Before I pass it on to Mr. Dempsey, any questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, Superintendent Dempsey?
So recommend.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to open forum. Do we have any speakers this evening, Ms. Delgado?
Madam President, we don't have any open forum.
Okay. And moving on to action items. We have no action items this evening. And so that leaves us to item 10, which is discussion items. We do have 2 discussion items. Our first one is Legislative Education Study Committee assessment results. Superintendent Dempsey.
Madam President, board members, thank you. Okay, so our presentation's up. This is going to be a little bit backwards for me because I'm used to it over there. And so this might be a little trick. Let me try to pull this up on my phone here. This might be a little bit easier so that I can see you and respond appropriately to any questions. Okay, so this last week on the New Mexico Public Education Department presented at a hearing for the Legislative Education Study Committee, and there's a very specific presentation that was done specific to assessment results. Some terms that I just want to start with and go over with you first is the statistical model. So basically what we have is our state agency that takes our students' previous test results and at-risk factors, if you will, and tries to make a prediction, and a mathematical prediction that says based on those previous results, based on the factors within this community, we believe this student and this school will score at a certain area. You've also probably heard of this idea of the achievement gap. And the achievement gap really kind of revolves around how different communities perform on these standardized tests and what those results look like. Some communities with less at-risk factors, and we'll go over what those at-risk factors might be, and some with more and how that might look. There's performance levels on all of our standardized testing. So in this one, I believe it's novice. Students can score as a novice, nearing proficiency, proficient, or advanced. Those are 4 levels of scoring, and you'll get to see a little bit of that this evening. And then these at-risk factors. So at-risk factors are, an example would be the percent of EL students in a particular school, the percent of students who qualify as economically disadvantaged. And for Gadsden, we have a large percent of those. Those are factors for us that impact our students and our families. Then, as I mentioned, this statistical model, they make a projected performance, and you'll see this line of regression that they talk about, and that's where they anticipate each school scoring, and if you score below it, then you performed at a lower level than they anticipate, and if you score above it, you perform at a level higher. So next slide, Mr. Snowdy. Okay. This is so again, October 13th was this presentation. We have a little video, so I'm going to let me set the stage for you a little bit. The gentleman you're going to hear speaking is New Mexico Public Education's data person. His name's Matt Goodlaw. Matt's been doing this a long time. He actually worked for PED under Secretary Scandera's administration, and then left out of state and now is back under Dr. Steinhaus's administration. So I'll let you listen to him, and then we'll have a little bit more of a conversation.
All we have to do is match the distribution between our native students and their higher performing counterparts in each of the quintiles. And if we can match those distributions of achievement, then we've closed the achievement gap. So for example, in that first quintile, you can see that 97% of the highest performing peer group, 97% of those in that lowest quintile are novice. So that's the lowest performance level. And 3% are nearing proficient. Whereas 100% of native students in that lowest quintile are in the novice category. So really, just to match that distribution across the state, we need to move 129 native students out of the novice and into the nearing proficient in that lowest quintile. In the next lowest quintile, you can see that the highest performing counterparts, 32% are novice and 68% are nearing proficient, whereas 77% of our native students are in the novice category and 23% are in the nearing proficient. So all we have to do is match that distribution in that second quintile, and we've closed the achievement gap there. And if we do that all the way up to that top quintile, we've closed the achievement gap for our native students. Those are the tools and the implements that we have at the state, and we're gonna provide each schools with their students' quintiles so that they can begin to really leverage this information and see how feasible it is. These numbers are not huge across the state. So it's chunking. Similar to how you teach students complex topics, you chunk the information so they can remember it, but we can chunk our data in such a way that it's meaningful and we can close the achievement gaps by chunking it. So this is how creative data and analytics leads to new insights, with which we can use to close the gaps and move the needle. For example, we can use these same ideas for the English language learners, for the special ed students, and for our low-income students. By chunking them into quintiles, we can see that the numbers are manageable and we can close the gaps. Next slide. So bear with me, y'all, just a moment longer. So I guess, Mr. Chair, you're going to enjoy this as well. But so for the untrained or the uninitiated, a school is often like a one-armed bandit or a slot machine. You put a coin or a student in, and you don't know what the probability that that student is going to come out proficient or advanced. Just like you don't know the probability that you're going to win on the other side of that arm. Without any prior knowledge, any proficiency rate between 0 or 100% may be equally likely. However, with prior information and or conditional input variables, we can reduce that uncertainty or the noise and begin to hone in on the principal trends. So we applied a statistical model which used percentage of students with disabilities, percentage of English language learners, percentage of students that are economically disadvantaged, percentage of students from historically underserved backgrounds. We also included mobility, which also seems to matter more in the upper grades. All of that to say that we use the statistical model to estimate the trends. And in the slide before you, each of these facets or plots in the lattice grid represent a subject area and grade level. And the points represent a school. And the blue lines represent that principal trend or that regression line that Tim shared. Points or schools on or close to the trend line did as well as they could have been expected to do, given their student characteristics. Points above or substantially above the line beat the odds, and those below underperformed. Look at the points that are highlighted with dark black points. That's one school district. And notice they're all the way over to the right. So they're serving what we call our most challenging students, high populations of English language learners, high populations of low income, high populations of traditionally underserved and special ed students. And almost all of their points are above that line. That school district is Gadsden. They substantially beat the odds, and we should be studying what they're doing. We should be looking at their practices and behaviors and learning from them. And so this method of controlling or adjusting for student characteristics allows us to identify schools that are beating the odds given their student populations.
Okay. So it's always nice, it's one thing to part of our job as administration is to always be positive, always look for the positive, and always, strive towards the best. It's really nice when someone else is carrying that torch for you. And I want to, so there were many of our schools that scored above that line of regression, but there were, I think, 9 that, or 10 that scored actually in double digits above that line. So more than 10% higher than they should have scored. And that's that idea of closing the achievement gap, beating those odds, right? And it's, part of this is to look at things along the lines of an equity factor, right? And how do we support our kids? And so I just want to recognize those campuses that were in double digits. We had others, but these are in double digits. So it's Alta Vista Early College High School, Mesquite Elementary, La Union Elementary, Desert View Elementary, Anthony Elementary, Gadsden Elementary, Sunrise Elementary, Chaparral Elementary, and Santa Teresa Middle School. Next slide, Mr. Snowdy, thank you. And what I really, so the entire presentation, the slides in the presentation for PED are at the bottom, and in the complete video recording is there if you want to click on it and look at it. It really speaks to, in my opinion, the commitment to excellence that's in this district. And it breaks down, in my eyes, there's nothing Travis Dempsey has done, in my opinion, to make this happen. It's been teachers and campus administrators. They're the people that make this work. They're the people in a classroom every day making a difference for kids. And so, I know sometimes we can get wrapped up in things and be a little critical of each other. And I think at some level that's healthy. We always want to push forward. But today, what I want to say is I'm just incredibly humble and proud of the fact that I'm a part of Gadsden and that these are our leaders in our classrooms working with our kids every single day. So thank you very much for that. I am open to any questions, because some of that math, I can totally geek out on it, and I apologize for that. And so if anybody has any questions, I sure would be open to any conversations around
Questions, comments, concerns? Mrs. Murillo?
I don't have a question. I just, I think when someone exposes our district like that, and yes, you're correct. This is the staff, this is the teachers. I mean, it's a lot, especially during the pandemic, after the pandemic, there's a lot of burden on them, and I almost feel, and I don't even know how or where to start, but this is just, thinking outside of the box, and maybe our leadership team can help me out. Do something for the specific schools, because we want to celebrate them. We just don't want to post it out there, right? We actually want to do something for them. So if there's anything that we can do, please, and anything that we can do as board members as well, because I personally just don't like to sit here and clap. I want to be part of it, right, and part of the celebrations. So I would just like to throw out there, if there's something that we can do for those specific schools, I would like to be part of that. And if I have any ideas, I'll let you know, because right now I don't.
Did you ask? Mrs. Rodriguez.
I actually want to make a comment as well. I was listening in when the LESU meeting was happening, and It is an honor. It's an honor to hear Gadsden, and I participated with the state in several occasions. I was part of the family cabinet, and I would always hear about Gadsden and the great things that are happening, but I was obviously not part of the board. But now being part of the board, I have a better understanding of the things that truly happen, and I know, I think Mr. Dempsey is always very humble in saying it's everyone else, and yes, I agree, it's everyone, but it includes him. I think his leadership has taken us very far, and I think it will continue going. Everyone that has a role has an important role, and that's from everyone, the students, the parents, the teachers, the directors, and so I applaud everyone for the great work that has been happening. I wasn't gonna say this, but I did send him a message, and I said, so how much did you pay the gentleman that's speaking? And I said, I'm just kidding. I know it has been great, and I do think that everyone has done a great job. And though when we got the results, I know I'm still not satisfied. I love that we are, doing better than many other districts. I just know that we can still excel, and there's always room for improvement. And I know that that's going to happen, because I think Gadsden, that's one of the things that we are very, I don't want to say competitive, but we do strive for more. And I know that that's going to happen. So congratulations to everyone. And again, I think it's teamwork from the parents as well. I think, sending your kids to school every day is what's going to make a difference. So that's important, because if the students aren't here, well, the scores will not be very good. So thank you for sending them. And students, thank you for being present and really paying attention in those classrooms. And of course, everyone that has a job doing, a duty as an educator, whatever role you have. Thank you for that.
So I just want to say congratulations specifically to those schools, and so that just shows that we are beating the odds despite at-risk factors. So that means, our entire district is 100% free and reduced lunch, so therefore, there's no excuses why our kids can't achieve, and they will, and I know that we're working hard, and so thank you for all you do. And I'm just gonna say it, and I will continue to advocate that, yes, let's celebrate, but also work together, sir, as far as, giving principals the opportunities, teachers the opportunities to learn from one another, to remember when I said, don't hoard the knowledge, share what you're doing, because it's not about being competitive against one another. That's awesome that you're doing that, but that you're excelling, but also we are one district, one family, one community. We've got to work together so that we can continue to hear Gadsden, and so it's awesome. But thank you for all you do. Thank you for all your hard work, and thank you, Mr. Dempsey, because, under your leadership, without you, you've got your people under you, and without those people, everybody has to, everybody responds to somebody higher than themselves, but it's all for the kids. So thank you for all you do, from the cafeteria ladies to custodians to everybody. Thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you.
Moving on to discussion item 10B, legislative priorities board request. Superintendent Dempsey.
Oh, Madam President, board members, and each of you should have received a calendar invite, and I think it was November 17th. And it's, so the idea is that we'll get to attend a dinner in Las Cruces with area superintendents, area boards, and area legislators. What I'd like to do is prepare a flyer for us to be able to present to them with those legislative priorities. And I did get some up. We've talked about this a couple times. And so I think SROs, resource officers, and now remember, when we talk to them about that, those have to be recurring dollars. Those can't be one-time dollars. Those are recurring expenses, because we're talking about salary. The installation of door hardware. We heard a great presentation. In fact, I feel like the meeting this week in Ruidoso gave me a really good understanding of some of those options and what those might look like. But you can see very few of our classroom doors are equipped with, he gave 2 recommendations. Very few of our classroom doors are set up that way. So it's going to take some work and some money to make that change occur. And then the other one was to deal with, this isn't really money, this is our chronic absenteeism issues, and really we have a pretty robust process. Ms. Villalobos has a whole team that takes care of our attendance and works with our principals, and each of our principals has an attendance team, but at the end of the day, when we're struggling, we've gone through all these interventions, we then transition it over to CYFD and or juvenile probation. The feedback we receive from them is there's nothing they can do. So to me, there's a hole there in that statute that needs to be changed so that, well, and I'll just say, I personally believe it's a parent issue, not a student issue. If students aren't coming to school, my opinion is parents need to be held accountable to that. And so if we can work to lobby with some groups there to look at that and see what changes we could make, that could make a pretty positive impact on those families, because it's you know, I think we've proven if we can get students in the building, our process will work, and so helping us get there. So I guess now I'd like to hear if you have some additional items you would like added to that. And you don't have to have them right now, but we will need them probably in the next, by the end of next week, we're going to need to have them to get that flyer put together, because we want to have it really dressed up and looking. It'll have each of your pictures on it. It'll have kind of some statistics around Gadsden and what we do there, and then so it'll have kind of some legislative priorities on that as well.
Does anybody have any things that need to be added? And again, like you said, if we don't have it at this time, you can send it. I'm going to go ahead and start, 'cause that way.
Okay.
Okay, so I had talked to you about possibility. I don't know about like childcare for teachers. What I'm thinking about is, you know, with the raises that went up, you know, one child and daycare costs, like, for those of us who have young ones, it's like $500 a month. And so if you have 1, 2, 3, you know, children in daycare, that's like your raise. There it goes. So I don't, you know, I'm not sure if now with the, what is it, that constitutional amendment one that's on the ballot come November, if that would have anything to do with that. But I don't know, you know, just to talk about maybe possibly helping educators in New Mexico, maybe as a way to recruit more educators. The other thing is, I know that at the resolution committee, they did not pass, so they did not pass the one about stipends for special education teachers. Maybe it was the way it was written, I don't know. But I'm not sure that my colleagues are understanding that, you know, I'm helping currently a teacher where I work in special education, and I'm like, yeah, like most people are not gonna want to teach, you know, sometimes, not all of them, but sometimes there's behavior issues that go on. And so, you know, IEPs, even though I know at the high school level where I used to work at, I know they would give us a prep and then another prep for IEP, but sometimes that is not enough time for special education teachers. You know, they're still working at it. I'm not kidding, when you still go home after they're done, they're working 2, 3 in the morning on those IEPs. So you know, currently we don't give special education teachers a stipend, correct?
Mr. Rapinette may be able to help me here, but it depends on the prep. It depends on how that prep is set up and how their daily schedule. So it is possible to get a paid prep. That's at times a possibility, but there's no just outright stipend, I believe, that goes to SPED teachers.
And that's where I never understood, you know, it's not against you, sir, but I just never understood why not, and maybe at a legislative level, we can, you know, communicate to them the importance so that they can provide monies to us. But I would even challenge us as a district to, you know, look at it, not wait for legislators to pass that, if, you know, if that would be a possibility of giving our special education teachers a stipend, because, I mean, bilingual teachers have a stipend, so I don't understand why special education, and I know that I talked to Teresa from Las Cruces, because she was at that meeting, and she was saying that something about general ed teachers might complain, that why are the special education teachers getting the stipend and not them? Well, I'm sorry, it's like, there's the opportunity when you go to school, to a college, you can choose to become a general ed teacher, you can choose to become a bilingual teacher, you can choose to become a special education teacher. And, you know, with the whole Yazzie Martinez lawsuit, I mean, maybe I failed and there, that this is a way to recruit and retain teachers in that area of special education. So I would really, really encourage us to have a talk with our legislators and see how they can support us. And then the next one, more stipends. It's again, with the National Board Certified Teachers. I actually, was it yesterday? Yes, yesterday I attended. So I am now a board member for New Mexico National Board Certified Teachers. And so I did have my orientation meeting with the president. And I did ask her, I said, I know that they've been working and lobbying to convince, for a better, lack of a better word, our legislators to pass legislation so that teachers who become administrators or move on to another position, such as an instructional specialist or higher up, I guess, move up the ladder, is to retain that stipend. And so I said, how long have you all been working? And she said, about 3 years, Ms. Flores. And I said, so what, you know, bottom line, why is this not happening? And so the reason she gave me, and this is her reason, is that legislators are in support of it, and then it passes the House, and then it passes the Senate, and where it's stopping, she said, is at the governor's office. It's a STAR assessment that I look at data, but there's the NMASA and the IMSA, and I'm hearing from our principals that these two, the interims and the summative tests, don't quite like jive. And so, you know, I guess, I don't know if they would be the ones that we would approach as far as, you know, looking at assessments and seeing why are we giving something that doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't, what's the word I'm looking for, sir? Align, thank you, Ms. Hernandez, because I do hear that a lot from principals, and you know, I haven't taken you up on it, Mr. Dugan and Mr. Constance, because we were looking, me and my colleague were looking, you know, can we look and see for the summative what standards were being assessed? Well, yeah, but it doesn't even tell us whether it doesn't give us much, which is ridiculous. So I'm like, why are we even given this? So on assessment, and who decides that, and how can we be of influence? But that's all I have at this point.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Flores.
Okay, anything else? Mrs. Murillo?
I have a couple of them. Yes, the childcare, that was one of them as well for me. I know this one might not go there, but might, just because other districts are going to, but doing the resolution for the health insurance, since other school boards are actually doing it, I think that will be a good idea for us to be part of that as well. And then one idea that I brought up to a couple of legislators is that I would like to have the proclamation of the Gadsden Day during the session, and really expose our district out there. And so I'm in the works with 3 of them to make that happen. Just trying to find the right time. And then also the other one, I would like to have some funding for the fine arts program. And I know maybe down the line, I would like to learn more about what kind of funding they're receiving. I know instruments, specifically band in middle school, you know, there's a lot of kids. They're trying to see what they like, what they don't like. Instruments are very, very old in some of those middle schools, and then they move up to high school, and then the replacements. So I don't know, I'm not knowledgeable enough, but I think that will be one thing that I would like to ask for the funding for fine art programs.
Thank you for talking about fine arts, because yes, I mean, we do have band in our district, but man, would it be awesome to see orchestra, to see mariachi, you know, and so that would be awesome if somehow they can help us do that. Because like you said, I think you said at the, I was also watching the LESC meeting, and just know that we're talking about legislative priorities, but those meetings, folks who are on the audience and are watching online, you can always watch them live, or you can also watch the recording so that you are informed. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, we move on to our last item on the agenda. Do I hear a motion?
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Cano has made a motion to adjourn. Superintendent Dempsey?
So recommend.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, that motion passes. We are now adjourned. Have a good evening, everybody. Be safe.